Today I'm going to be going over this M18 handheld, and I'm not really sure what the company is that makes this, but I believe it's SJ Game. I don't know. Suji Game. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but and again, I've never really heard of that company. You know, it's usually I only hear people talking about Neo and Miyu and Hello Kitty and Ambernick. I don't really hear too much about anything else, but we'll go over this today. These are the stats of the console. And just looking over the console itself, obviously this is a very, very big console. Like, let's compare it to, and here it is next to my Ambernick SP, when here it is next to it while it's open. So it's very thick. And let me just show you how thick it is. It's pretty strangely sized console, which I'm surprised I haven't heard many people talk about it. Anyway, some other weird things. Obviously, I don't know if this is good or bad, but it has these giant comfort grips on the back. And it's very interestingly shaped, and then the trigger buttons are like curved down, which I find strange as well. I mean, it might be for comfort, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time it's just weird. And then also how the start and the select buttons are like at this angle. Again, I've never seen anything like it. I don't know if it's good or bad or meant to be for like comfort reasons, but they're there. On the bottom, you have the micro SD card slot, headphone jack, charging, and an on and off switch instead of a button. So that's kind of different compared to other ones. Nothing on the top, no HDMI out port, nothing like that. And it does come with the micro SD card slot. And I probably should have checked to see how big it was before I turned it on. So let me just do that real quick. And it's going to be a 64 gigabyte micro SD card that came with the console. So let's turn it back on. So here is the UI itself, and there's like buttons. You can turn off the sound settings if you don't like it changing between the menu, and these are all the emulators. This is all came pre-installed on it. And we'll try out a few different systems, but I do like the UI. It's simple to use. I like the nice arcade scrolling, things like that, but I'll just start off with some games. Now obviously because it's so wide, it's going to be awkward to play things like the Game Boy. It's going to be awkward to play systems like the Game Boy just because of how vertical the screen is compared to some of the retro consoles themselves. So let's say I wanted to play Donkey Kong World. So obviously it's looking a little stretched. Now they did try, okay, and obviously the volume buttons, I missed that earlier. There were these giantly sized things that are over here. Since it is stretched out a bit, they did try to fix it by giving you like this nice UI cover, but it is still a little bit stretched for at least Game Boy games. If you push the home button, you can load your save states or just exit the game. And it did come with all these games as well. I'm gonna try some of Nintendo 64. I'm trying to see if there's a search button. No, oh yes, there is. Okay, so you still can search in favorite thing. That's good. Here we are again. The screen looks a little bit stretched out. I'll try making the volume a little bit louder. I've noticed already there's some audio glitches, but we'll try anyways. So already the audio is lagging a lot, but let's try actual gameplay. Okay, just because I'm bad at the game doesn't mean that it actually affects the console. So it seems to be playing rather okay. It's just the audio sounds terrible. But I mean, it seems pretty responsive besides that. Now, of course, this is a little bit, I guess, I'm on the easiest setting. But if you're playing like 150cc, it might be different for response rate. I'm not 100% sure. But I feel like really fast-paced games, like fighting games or something like that, people might be very annoyed by that. I'm going to try some Game Boy Advance games. I'm just going to try Castlevania. And next I'm going to try the Hamtaro test. What's the Hamtaro test, you might ask? Basically what it is this game specifically is known for having issues emulating. And what happens is it gets stuck. If there's not enough power to the device, it gets stuck right on the beginning the game screen. So let me get to that part. And obviously while this is loading too, even for GBA, it's still stretched out a bit. So the screen's really awkward for that, but it's still doable. Okay, so this next screen is where it may or may not get stuck. So usually if an emulator device or just a program isn't strong enough, it'll get stuck and not resume from here. But this one, it loaded right away. So obviously this is more than powerful enough to play GTA games. Of course, it depends on the game itself, but like I said, a lot of the emulators do get stuck right before the spot. Obviously, we'll just do the ever-famous Contra test with the D-pad, and this one actually passes it, mostly. Might be a little bit of user error. Now, the next system I'm interested in trying out is PSP. I have a feeling this won't run well, but we'll try it out anyways. So it's playing. I feel like it's not the best, but it is working. So and here we are with a little bit of PlayStation 1. Doesn't seem to really be lagging at all, which I'm kind of surprised about. I wasn't sure how it would run compared to other systems, but it seems to be running well. Again, this is PlayStation 1. So overall, I'm not going to say if you should get it or not, but I feel like the reason why no one really talks about this console is because of just how awkwardly shaped it is. Like, these comfort grips are pretty big. And overall, just the button layout's really strange. The vertical screen, again, I don't see too many people liking that, but maybe some people would prefer that. I don't know. And overall, and then again, because it's like a different company, you know, it's not one of the big hitters, I feel like no one really cares about it. So again, I'm not going to say to get it or to not get it. It runs what it has on here pretty well, with the exception of PSP, but and kind of N64 too. So, I don't know, it's just a strange little device. I'm not going to say, but overall, it does seem to run most of the systems pretty well, so I'm kind of surprised about that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.